Welcome to this CES 2021 session. My name is Steve Ewell, and I'm the Executive Director of the Consumer Technology Association Foundation. And I'm really pleased to be joined by two-time Super Bowl champion and president of Level 82, Torrey Smith, as well as Eric Reed, the Vice President of Entertainment and Tech Policy at Verizon, and I'm pleased to say a CTA Foundation trustee. So welcome, Torrey and Eric. So happy to have you joining us at CES 2021 this year.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Absolutely. Well, Torrey, you started your family fund actually even before you retired from the NFL, and have continued to bring service back to the community and done just some amazing work. Can you talk about some of those services that you're bringing to Baltimore?
Yeah, it's been a long journey for myself and being involved in the community. I remember being drafted during the lockout, and there's a lot of uncertainty that year. And I was home at my wife. I literally left for the NFL early and was sleeping at my wife's, but my now wife, she's my fiance at the time, on her couch because I really didn't even have a place. So much uncertainty during that time. And I was like, we're going to start a foundation now because I had the time to do it. And it was always important to me to give back to others because I knew I would have never made it to that point in my life if it wasn't for others lending a helping hand to me. And so it's really grown from focusing on families and domestic violence to giving kids the resources they need to now we're actually taking over a community center in West Baltimore. So that's a major task for us, and it's a lot of responsibility that we're looking forward to. It's a center that's been closed for almost 13 years, and there's a lot of potential there, and the resources need to be brought to that community so we can help elevate the potential that already exists.
Well, that's really incredible. And so many people who really I just know are going to benefit based on those services that you're providing. Eric, I'd love to hear, how are you and Verizon really getting involved in supporting some of this work?
Yeah, I mean, look, for us, it really comes down to technology and inclusion, diversity, and even education. How do you tie in all those different elements to create better outcomes for communities that typically are underrepresented when it comes to getting the necessary technology and resources to have a better life, to have a better lifestyle, to be able to engage within their own community to share, whether it's best practices or technological tools for their own particular growth. And Baltimore has just been one of those cities which has been a great partner to Verizon in terms of investing in technology, investing in education, investing in the communities, the local communities that really need an extension of resources for better education, for maybe having better medical outcomes. And so the work that we've done with Torrey's former, the Family Fund and now Level 82, it really does get back to how can we work together with a variety of partners that want to produce better outcomes for the city of Baltimore as a whole. And so Verizon, in terms of providing, whether it's a 5G investment or investing in the Baltimore City public school system, having those really good outcomes in terms of kids being able to open their eyes and being able to realize that there's much more that is open to them if they allow education or STEM programming is made available to them. It's just been a phenomenal last 2 years in terms of the work we've done with Torrey, the work we've done with Bite Back, which is also a CTA Foundation partner that is focused on digital literacy and those types of programs. So it's been a wonderful ride. We look forward to continuing that work, and there's still much more to be done.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit more and some of the work that's being done there, because as you both kind of highlighted, the opportunities to show kids the opportunities that exist for them, and looking at the ways that you're able to use this community center as well as some of the other programs that you've been creating in the community. I'd love to start with Torii, but Eric, I want to have you jump in on this as well. How are you looking at addressing the digital divide through these programs and promoting STEM opportunities?
Representation and opportunity is everything. So for the kids to see people and to have access to things that they don't even know exist in terms of technology and STEM is huge. For example, a lot of kids are interested in music. They have no clue how much STEM is involved in other career fields besides being the artist and the person on the microphone. So to be able to expose them to technology and different careers, or an engineer, right? A kid might like playing with Legos. They don't understand what that can lead to in terms of them being able to design the next high-tech building. But a lot of these things don't, and a lot of these dreams don't exist for kids because they don't see it. Their parents aren't necessarily in those career fields. They aren't in their neighborhood for sure. And so it's important to bring that access there so that, but the difference is their families and people that they know may not be in that situation, but the potential for them to be those next great leaders are there. And so it's important to bring technology to those areas to spark their interest early, just like it would be for kids in better situations all across the country. Because I know myself, even when it comes to something as little as going to college, my mother went to community college, but I had no clue what the real world looked like beyond until I started playing AAU basketball, and we're visiting college campuses all over. And I'm like, wait, this is what it looks like? What's going on here? And so by being able to bring technology there, you never know the next event or the next big social media, the next firm, the next great business idea could be created by a child right in that rec center because we're helping to close that gap when it comes to technology.
Yeah, look, Torii raises a great point, and Torii's a perfect example of this, and he probably has some statistics on this. But when you think about kids saying, "Hey, I want to be the next NFL athlete or next NBA athlete," and that's all they see, the challenge is when you look at the numbers, a high school student that has to go from a high school football team to play college ball and then make it to the NFL, I think it's 1 in 10,000. That's the number. So when you think about that number, it's extremely daunting. But when you can think about giving access to a kid that loves football, that still wants to have a role in the industry, big data analytics, being a big data analytics analyst for the NFL or for a particular team, you could still have significant impact of what's happening on the field without having to strap on a helmet. And I think that providing those sort of opportunities, as Torii pointed out, that's what's really important. Are there engineers or big data analytics individuals and others in these fields that can articulate, hey, look, the numbers, if you have great athletic ability, that's wonderful, but the numbers will show that to make it from a high school athlete to being in the NFL are stark. You have a better opportunity if you get a great education in one of these disciplines, and you can still have an impact on the game. So, being able to articulate that sort of narrative is critically important to these communities that just don't have the engineers and the role models that are readily available to them.
Well, and I think it's such an incredible message because, so many people, as you both shared, are interested, as you're growing up, you want to be that next NFL superstar. You want to be, a musical artist, things along those lines. And there's so many opportunities to be involved in those spaces and really have a major impact in sports and arts, and also, going into the tech world, and, whether it's joining a big company like Verizon or starting the next small startup that might become the next giant company out there. And it's all just a matter of understanding the opportunities that exist out there and the representation of seeing others do this, and seeing, people from your communities, your neighborhood do it as well. And representation has been such a major topic for us really this year, but quite frankly, for many years within the tech community and society at large. Right now, here we are, talking as a foundation, talking as, Torii, you're involved with so many different things between Level 82 and all the other different engagements that you have, Eric, you with Verizon. How can we all kind of come together along with others in the industry to help provide that representation?
I think you just have to be intentional about it. I think we all recognize that there are some challenges that exist, and it's not just about tossing your money at these issues. It's about your time. We talk about representation. If you haven't seen someone in that position, how can you be it? And that's a tough barrier that a lot of people can't necessarily relate to, but a lot of minorities and a lot of women, that's their reality each and every day. And so I think it's about being intentional about looking at your team, because oftentimes we question diversity and then we're looking at each other like, well, look who we're talking about diversity with. Like, we haven't even taken that step there. So I think it all starts with you, yourself, and your team, and trying to figure out how you can create the impact and that's best for everyone. And again, it just starts with being intentional about it and just really kind of changing the way you view opportunities, even where you look, right? I tell my mom all the time, like, you can't go fishing in the same pond and expect to catch a different fish. Sometimes you have to change the way in which you go about it, and you have to go explore different areas and try to find talent elsewhere, because the talent exists. Just because they haven't had the opportunity doesn't mean they aren't capable of accomplishing just as much or more as your next employee or partner.
Yeah, look, I love that word intentional, because I think a lot of times where you're looking for partnerships, a lot of times, especially a large company like Verizon, people seem to think that it's Verizon's agenda in terms of us pushing something out. But it's really, if you want to be intentional, you really have to listen to the needs of the community. So it actually happens in reverse. So if you really want to provide true impact, be really intentional about it. If you want to create a tech innovation ecosystem within a city, if you want to be innovative, if you want to encourage diversity and inclusion, listen to the community first. Listen to where their pain points are. Listen to where they have resources. And that way, when you can collaborate in that fashion, that's where you get that intention. That's where it becomes much more intentional, as opposed to me or Verizon having to come in with its own agenda and pushing it on to the community. It actually happens in reverse. You want to hear about the good, bad, and the ugly from the community, and then work collaboratively in terms of how to drive for good solutions that will promote good intentional outcomes.
Well, and we've seen studies looking at the impact of having diverse teams and really the strong companies that bring together from various backgrounds and really across diversity. So whether you are talking about racial diversity, gender diversity, we do a lot of work with our foundation with the disability community and engaging people from across that community as well. So really having a lot of different voices helps build a stronger community and makes the products that are going to serve the needs of the communities we're trying to meet. So yeah, it's such an incredible topic, and I'm excited to continue to build on that here at CES, as well as moving forward throughout the year. So I'm really pleased that you've been able to raise so much around this issue. Here we are at CES this year, digitally, of course, being 2021. But we're seeing announcements throughout this week of, the new technologies that we're all going to be able to get our hands on this year, and the things that are really, going to change our lives. We're also going to have a lot of discussions about, some of the different types of technologies in the coming years that are going to have an impact. So whether it's, 2, 3, even 10 years down the road. And that's always the exciting areas of those emerging technologies and seeing where there's impacts. Torii, I'd love to go to you first. I know you're involved with a whole lot of different, endeavors right now. Are there specific areas of emerging technology that you're particularly interested in and excited about?
I mean, besides esports and my nephews piling that on me, I think there are just so many different things. For me, I was in San Francisco for a couple of years. So to me, my world has changed because I didn't know so many different things existed. So when it comes to technology, I think of just different ways to have access, and the things that stand out to me the most are tools that actually help people. And so whether that's educational work or business, just being more efficient, whatever it may be, those are the things that stand out to me the most, because technology is not the future, it's now. And the things that people are coming up with on a day-to-day basis is amazing. And again, living out in the Bay Area and being exposed, they had Apple Pay before I even knew it was on my phone, right? So just even simple day-to-day operations where you have technology and how things are working, those are things that stand out to me the most, because I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, I have my computer, I have my phone, my kids are over there on the other side virtually learning. They're on the computer. He's 4 years old. He knows exactly what he's doing. So you compare that to when I was young and it was internet took 9 years for something to even pop up on the screen. So I just think as much as the way that things are incorporated in our day-to-day lives are the technology that I look forward to seeing, because again, it seems amazing at first, but then eventually just becomes the norm.
Yeah, I think we're really going to see, certainly throughout CES, a lot of discussions about the types of technologies that are helping us stay connected, helping us, work, live, and play. Really, even when we're being, physically distanced this year, we're certainly going to see a lot of conversations about esports too. So I look forward to more conversations around that space, because that's kind of a fun, exciting area. But really, it's amazing to see, and we're seeing it expand out beyond, certainly the Bay Area is the home of a ton of emerging technology, but, we're seeing things pop up around the country, and I can't wait to see the next innovators that are going to come out of Baltimore and the work and the community that you're working with there, Torii. Eric, I know your answer to this is going to be 5G and the low latency engagements that we're going to be able to have through 5G. Are there other areas of technology that you're interested in?
Yeah, it's funny because Steve, over the years, having been to CES, and obviously this year it's virtual, sports and the sports and technology forum as part of CES has grown exponentially over the years. And of course, we talked about esports, but I also think that, yes, 5G is an amazing technology with its speeds and its latencies, but it's really about how are we connecting the fans to the game, particularly now in this virtual environment where season ticket holders, they cannot attend games. How do leagues stay connected with their fans, giving them access to content, exclusive content that is cutting edge and exciting, and brings the fan experience from their living room, to their computer screen or to their mobile device. And so obviously our relationships with the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL, incorporating those technologies, making that fan experience more engaging, particularly now during the pandemic, is increasingly important. And so, it's going to be interesting to see how virtual reality, augmented reality, all of those technological platforms and elements get incorporated into all this. And yes, 5G will be the glue that will bring all this together.
Well, that's really cool. And I look forward to that, being someone who lives in Virginia and follows a team out in Denver. If you can give me that, sideline view, maybe this year was not the greatest year to watch, but, I'm looking forward to having that engagement without having to hop on a flight every time I want to see the team out there.
See, the next time you decide to see your Broncos come to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, you can get that 5G experience, as Torii and I had last season, being able to experience those 5G engagements.
I will look forward to being able to have that engagement. And yeah, I can't wait to getting, seeing the sports continue to grow and, getting fans back engaged into the process as well. Well, Torii, if people want to know more about the work that you're doing with Level 82, is there a website or somewhere they should go to get more information?
Yes, you can head over to level82.org. I'm on social media as well, Torrey Smith WR. It's a random place over there, so you want to be careful on my timeline. I talk about a little bit of everything. I'm passionate about a lot of things, but level82.org has all the information that you need. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Well, I encourage people to give you a follow, check it out, and get involved with the work that you're doing. It's really incredible. Eric, if people want to know more about the work that you're doing with Verizon, where should they go for that?
Yeah, again, you can go to our main corporate page and go to our corporate social responsibility website online, and there's a plethora of different initiatives that we've been engaging in. Again, a lot of this has been around 5G and technology, but there's a lot of engagements that we also, in terms of making sure around inclusivity, making sure that being, again, Tori's word, intentional around how is Verizon and the community working together for promoting better outcomes, whether it's around diversity, social justice reform, digital inclusion, trying to narrow that digital divide gap. They can find all of our initiatives there. And look, I'm really excited about partnering with Torii and Level 82. He's been a great spokesperson, not only for his foundation, but also for the city of Baltimore as well. There's a lot happening there. There's a lot of innovation taking place, and there's going to be more to come. So we're really excited.
Well, awesome. Well said. Torii, Eric, really a pleasure talking with both of you. You're both doing some incredible work, and I can't wait to see it continuing to grow and impact the community in Baltimore and really be an example for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. So thank you so much for joining me here at CES 2021.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Well, for the audience, if you're interested in learning more about the CTA Foundation, you can go to ctafoundation.tech, and I wish you a wonderful CES 2021.